It's Monday, it's 8 p.m, and it's the Monday assessment.
Your people gather round your town when things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the hard times, stay passionate through the lows, find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's Monday Assessment, brought to you by The View from the Medway Fancast, in collaboration with the Gillingham FC Supporters Club, Sports Social Podcast Network, and Her Game 2, sponsored by Snodhurst Used Cars Service Station and Wicked Creative. In a week where the two League Two unbeaten teams went head-to-head in front of the Sky cameras, a contentious last-minute penalty helped the Gills maintain their unbeaten start and stay top of League Two. Let's meet today's panel. I'm not even there. You're right, Chris?
Oh, hello. We're off. Let's go.
Here I am.
I'm glad he's got his clothes on. That's all I can say.
Chris isn't in the background, honest.
You
How
don't
are
be
you
the
doing,
best,
everyone?
mate.
Oh, man.
How is everyone? How are you doing, Sarah, Warren, Mike? All good?
We're all good. You all right?
Yeah, all good,
Yes,
mate. All good.
not too bad at all. Looking forward to this one. As always, we will start with the Views news. So I will make sure I hand you over to Warren.
That makes a change. Right, okay, so the first thing is the Fulham game on Tuesday night. I don't know if any of you three went. I watched it on the box. What did we think of Tuesday? So I'm going to ask you, Sarah, what was the
Don't
one...
bother asking me, Warren, because I didn't watch it. I didn't go.
You didn't watch it?
Nothing.
Oh,
No,
what a
I
fan
was
you are, Sarah.
I know. I was busy Tuesday night. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Had I
sorry.
known you were going to bring it up, I'd have done a bit of homework on it, but I didn't. So it's live. Sarah didn't go to the game and doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Never mind, Sarah. We'll ask Dave, what did you think of the game on Tuesday night?
I actually quite enjoyed it. I was very disappointed with Fulham. Out of all the league games that we play in this competition, I always do quite enjoy the under-21 game against a Premier League team because, you never know if you're going to see a future star or a future loan player or something like that. But they got to be the poorest under-21 team that we've had down here. And whether that was a mixture of our mix of kids and pros playing really well, or whether it was just a game that they just weren't really up for. But a lot of the kids obviously got their first goals for the club. I'm sure Gareth Ainsworth would have took a lot from that. And overall, for the couple of hundred people that went to the game were heavily entertained. And obviously you can't sniff a 4-1 victory.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you to a certain extent, Dave, but I actually thought that Fulham's possession of the football was pretty good. I didn't think there was any mugs. I would like to think that we just didn't allow them to play them in our last third of the pitch. And I think a lot of it was due to the high press and a lot of it was due to our youngsters trying to impress. So I'd like to ask you, Mike, what sort of benefits do you think our youngsters got out of that game?
It's difficult to say. I mean, of course, like you have the fact that it is like officially a senior game. There were some of the senior team playing at the same time as well. But the benefit for them is that I mean, I totally agree with the sentiment that our lot were probably a bit more up for it, kind of thing. But you know, I know you touched on the point about like, you know, Fulham being like, you know, very good in possession and everything like that. But the thing is that they've been taught a certain way, which is like the Premier League way, so to speak. You stick a long ball up and they don't know how to deal with it. They've just not been taught how to deal with things like that. So, you know, there's those contrasting kind of styles there. But in terms of what the young lads got out of this, probably not a whole lot on this one, but you know, but to the fans, it shows a lot more of that. There's quite a few that we've got coming through that have really bright futures ahead of them if they can do it beyond more than just the one game. If we manage to use these against some of the like senior teams in other games in the trophy, then I think that's, you know, I'll benefit from that probably a lot more.
Yeah, I want to speak about the squad a little bit later, but I mean, for me, playing alongside some senior pros like Marnie Little, Hutton, it can only benefit our youngsters in the long term, surely.
Yeah.
David?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And obviously, Gareth at the start of the season said that he wanted to work with a small squad and trust the kids. From what I've seen, the ones that played on Tuesday and have played in the first team so far this season are doing themselves so much credit, and the future does look positive. We've not had loads and loads of kids go through the squad over the years. Obviously, you've had the high profile ones, but obviously with Joe recently leaving, there's only Sam Gale that's left. So the more we can get in and around the squad, the better. And obviously, you can get a lot of money for homegrown players if they're any good. And as a League Two club, it's kind of what we're about. You develop the kids, bring them through, and hopefully you can sell them on for some money. So
we'll come to you, Sarah, right? So get ready for with an answer. You went to Oldham last Saturday, and Cruz Peasant came on and played.
He did.
What was your overriding feeling? Because I thought he had a really good game on Tuesday night, and I didn't realise that he could take corners with both feet, which, if you look at the modern day player, hardly anyone takes corners with both feet. So what was your opinion on Cruz Peasant?
I think he looks promising, to be fair. Yeah, give him some more grass time, and you know, he just needs that experience, doesn't he? And it's that added old thing, isn't it? You don't get experience unless you're given it, but then it's like you haven't got experience, so we're not going to give it to you. And it's that catch-22. So yeah, get him on the pitch some more and see what he's got.
Yeah, so this is why I think the Virtue Trophy is important for clubs like Gillingham, and the fact that we can blood some youngsters alongside senior pros, because we've got to play 5 senior pros that played the previous league game. And I think your learning curve starts there. I know the youngsters can go out on loan as many times as possible, but nothing beats playing in a proper competition against fellow adult players that are of league standard. I know Fulham was an under-21 side, but they were a Premier League under-21 side who are doing quite well this season. And don't forget, they beat Sutton 7-1 just a couple of weeks earlier in the non-league under-21 competition that they have. So, for me, it just made sure that the future looked quite bright with all the shine of all the youngsters on Tuesday.
And
So
it feels
kind
like
of maybe sort of add to that
as
point.
well, doesn't it? Sorry.
I'm just saying that, to add to your point, Warren, is that, it's not only an opportunity to play alongside, first team seniors, but it's also an opportunity to feature under the first team manager as well and get a feel for what his expectations are, how he conducts in the dressing room, because a lot of these young players, they're sort of under, different areas of management. They go out on loan, but it's an opportunity for them to get involved under, first team management, under the first team setup.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's got to be a pathway. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a pathway when you're going for a promotion. It's a bit different if you're mid-table and you're not going to get relegated, not going to get promoted. You can blood youngsters into the side, but when you're going for promotion or playoffs, I think it's very difficult to put the youngsters in. So the virtue for me is an ideal opportunity to see what we got, see how they adapt. So we'll move on. So before the last home game, I put in something on Twitter, Project 8000, which I'm hoping everyone will share. It was to try and get 8,000 for the Crew game. Obviously, I fell well short. Bear in mind, I only had 24 hours, but we only got just over the 6,000. I would really like to see 8,000 in the crowd this Saturday. I'd love to see Priestfield packed out. So I'm going to give each of you the opportunity to say to our viewers the reason why we should pack out Priestfield, promote Project 8000, and let's get Priestfield rocking for Saturday. So I'll go to you, Dave.
My message would be to all Gillingham fans, and if there are any fans of clubs that aren't Gillingham that live in the local area that support a Premier League team that can't get to the games because they support teams that are too far away, and you've got a chance to come and support your local team who are top of the league, got a huge game. It'd be a really good game to come to as well. It's Notts County at a no mugs, and see if you like it. Tickets aren't that expensive to come and watch. And yeah, just take in the atmosphere. The crowds recently and the atmosphere has been off the charts. And I promise you, if you come and you enjoy it, you'll get the bug. And then it's on me if you do get the bug, because then you get to join the roller coaster that is Gillingham Football Club.
Yeah, cheers, Dave. Mike.
To echo Dave's sentiments on that, if you are a fan of a Premier League team, Championship team, and you can't get to the game, then, and you're in the local area, definitely sort of come down and see what it is. I mean, Notts County and Gillingham, as a little sort of factoid for you, is that both teams have scored in every league game this season. So there'll be goals, hopefully, for that. So it's, I got my bug way back in the centenary game in pre-season. We're watching Arsenal versus Gillingham kind of thing. So that's where mine all started. I went to watch a Premier League team with a friend of mine, and I got the Gillingham bug there. And it all starts somewhere. And when the place is packed out, there is no atmosphere like it, because you can go to your big stadiums, but the thing is, you're never as close to the action as you are at Priestfield, and the atmosphere is so infectious.
Cheers, Mike. Sarah, come on. Tell the world.
So everyone knows I class myself as a baby Gills because I've only been going, obviously, I think my 4th season of following the Gills, and I was not interested in football prior to that at all. All my family were Arsenal. When Huckleberry was born, he had to be Arsenal because that was the law in the family kind of thing. And when he went to school, his friends were Chelsea. So big family lunch, and he's like, "Grandpa, I'm going to support Chelsea." And it's like, "Well, what are you going to do, Sarah?" I was like, "I'm going to support Gillingham." And it's like, "Why?" I went, "Because they're local." And my eldest James said, "You can't because you've never been to a match." I said, "Well, sort it then." So literally went to a match and absolutely you said about getting the bug, Mike. I got the bug. We lost to Plymouth, but I loved it. And it's the atmosphere. And we started up in the Medway stand, and we've gradually moved around until we've got our third season season tickets in the Rainham End. And it is that atmosphere. And it's also, if there's any families out there, or females in particular, who think, oh, I can't go to football because it's this, it's that, it's male orientated. Absolutely not. It's so far removed from that, and you just made to feel so welcome because it's a small club.
Yeah,
in relative terms, kind of like your Premiership is what I mean.
Yeah,
and like you say, when the ground is alive, there is nothing like it. Go once, you'll get hooked, and then you can blame Mike and I for getting hooked and going every single week.
I mean, my wife still hasn't forgiven me. I'll be honest, because I when I had my season ticket in the Rainham End and everything like that, before I had a family and all this kind of jazz, like I used to go with mates and everything like that. But now I'm in the family area in the Medway stand, and my wife comes with me. My wife's got zero interest in football. She's got absolutely no interest whatsoever. However, she loves coming to the games. She loves watching the football. She's absolutely distraught that Joe Boday's left. But now I can rest easy because I'm thinking I'm keeping one eye on you, son, because if you go anywhere near my wife, I'll be launching myself over the hoardings. But yeah, but she's hooked on it, and my son, he absolutely loves it. I mean, it's his second season coming along as well, because I wanted to bring him at an age where he would actually appreciate it. Where he's 7.5 now, and it's nice to have that as a family affair as well. There's no feeling like it, because there's lots that we do together, but there's things that I'm absolutely wildly passionate about that I just love having my family as part of it, to share that, because I can't convey that in words to her. If I go to a football match and then come back and talk about the game, it's never going to be the same as her experiencing it for herself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's great, and the more we can get there, it's great.
Cheers, guys. So I'll put out on Twitter if anyone wanted to just say something, and I'd read out on the show. So I had one. It was a big response, so I'm only expecting 4,000 in the crowd on Saturday. So this was from Blue Brazil. Gill was undefeated in 19 league games, top of the table, and everyone pulling together and playing with real pride for the shirt. The Gallinsons have invested heavily, and we need to show them the ceiling of this club is very high. Medway, get behind the only team in Kent that matters. So a lot
that
of
matters. Bloody hell.
Right? Mate, I'm only reading out what...
Yeah, I get it.
For me, there's nothing better than a full Priestfield. I've been able to witness the 2 Everton games, Wickham at home, other big crowds when we won the 73-74 tile when I was 7, when I first started going. I love the place. I've invested 53 years of my life into it. And the first game I ever went to was a 7-2 victory under lights, and Neil Warnock played for Scunthorpe on that day. I just love everything about it. And for me, the reason why I started this Project 8000 was because Gareth Ainsworth and Dobbo and the players have really gelled together this year. Now, I was slating after these players last year, and I won't tell any lies, right, that I've loved every single player that's been here for the whole of the time that they've been here. But this season, we are actually working as hard as any Gillingham football, or alongside maybe the Martin Allen side and Tony Pulis' sides. I've never seen a Gillingham team care passionately for the club, or care passionately about playing for the shirt and getting in that first team. And I'd like for people to come along and support that, because trust me, at the moment, times are good, and there have been some pretty awful times over the last few years. So if you stop going, right, because you couldn't be bothered with players not performing or not trying, come back, because these players are giving 100% for this football club, and I think they need and deserve the support of the Kent public. So please come along. I would just like everyone to, over this next week, Any tweets, anything on Facebook, anything on Instagram that you do, just put Project 8,000, hashtag Project 8,000, and try and promote. Let's try and get 8,000 in the crowd for Saturday and have a fantastic atmosphere. Us guys at View from the Medway are doing hospitality Saturday, so there are a few extra seats available from our normal seats. So, just get along, enjoy the game, and get behind the lads. So that's it from me on the Project 8,000. So I'd like to go on to squad strength. Now, the other day I was looking at all the permutations of playing 5-3-2, 3-4-3, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. Now, I was putting in all the players that could play that we've got available this season. And I didn't even include any of the young guys, any young lads that played in the Virtue Trophy. And there was 2 or 3 options in every position. Mike, what do you think our squad strength's like this year?
I mean, after we had that late flurry on deadline day, it's difficult for me to sort of say for sure like how those new guys will gel in. I mean, we've seen like glimpses of it in the Bromley game, which I'm sure we'll get to a little bit later on. But on paper, I think we've made some very, very valuable additions. I mean, I won't lie. I did say with McCleary, I was kind of like, you know, he's 38. Is it more of a dressing room thing than actual contribution to the club? But he wouldn't be here unless there was, you know, he thought he could make that contribution. But I think we're, in terms of squad depth, I think we're maintaining that you know, decent size squads that Ainsworth can work with. You know, I know we had like the early casualty of Masterson, but it's pretty good at the moment. And I think with the players that we've got at the moment, I think we've got we've got all the makings of we can make a serious challenge this year. I can't say where we'll end up, but it all depends on for me, the mental side of the game, which we are finally getting in touch with, because, you know, there have been previous seasons where, you know, the bulk of that squad has played for us before when, you know, under like, you know, people like Bonner, you know, and whatnot, but and they would crumble like an OXO cube when under the pressure that we've been under already this season. So that mentality taking us forward, you know, with that squad strength, I think we've got serious makings of a good challenge this season.
Sarah, where do you think our squad is in comparison to the rest of the League Two at this moment in time? I know we haven't seen every team, but bear in mind we've played quite a few of the top teams in our division so far. Where do you think we compare?
I think we're leaders at the moment. Don't mean fact from the top of the table, but the fact the dynamics are there with the players. There was so much talk last season about various managers had lost the dressing room and there was infighting in the dressing room. There clearly isn't anymore because they are playing as a team. It's like they actually want to be there, you know, and there's no sort of I'm the only one here. You know, they are actually playing as a whole unit. And I think that's a very good place to be and a great sort of foundation for the rest of the season. And if you're not playing as a team, then there's no point in doing it. So, and I do think that Gareth Ainsworth has got a lot to do with that. I really do. And he's united them all. You know, last season we saw them kind of literally just spreading out all over the place, not really interested, not really wanting to be there necessarily. And whatever's happened over the summer, whatever he's spoken to them about or whatever, it's like they all actually want to be there, and they want to be there not just for each other, but for the club, the whole thing.
Yeah, I agree, Sarah. I think Gareth Ainsworth, although he possibly wouldn't have been my first choice, he most certainly is my first choice now as manager of this football club. So, David, I'll come on to you. With the strength that we've got in the squad, if everyone was fit and available, and I'll include Masterson in that, what if there was one position you felt that we could have improved on in the transfer window but didn't, where do you think it would be?
I'm always going to say centre forward. I do feel that I come across quite negative about our front line, and you've teed me up quite nicely here.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, because I think the strength of the squad is good. I think the strength of the squad is good, and we've got options in all areas. It's some of the areas there is a huge drop off when some players are out, and we're pinning hopes on players that we've not seen yet. And I know Josh Andrews scored at the weekend, and you can't fault him or Elliot Nevitt's effort at all. But at some point, we've got to judge their ability, and they just, for me, they don't score enough goals. At points, I don't feel like when they're through on goal, I wouldn't bet any money that I feel like they're going to score. And I think as a fan base, we're pinning our hopes on Seb Palmer-Holden being the answer. We've got nothing to go on there, and I hope he is, because we're due one. We are due a centre forward that is going to score us a lot of goals. But it's the hardest place in the team to fix and find, because everyone wants a good centre forward. You've got to pay big money for it, or get a bit of luck. And as I said, we've got Sam Vokes in the squad, in and around the squad now, and I'm sure he's gonna be the part. I said Seb Palmer-Holden, but I do have a worry that, yeah, if Nevitt and Andrews stay as the front two, I do have concerns in the long run that they are the answer. Because as I said, never going to fault their effort, but you need more end product out of them both. And hopefully, with Andrews scoring at the weekend, it could be the start of a run for him. And that's me done on Gillingham centre forwards.
Until the next time.
I mean, for me, I think goalkeeping is the one area that we're a little bit lacking. I think if anything happened to Glenn, then we'd struggle. I really do. Whether it be Turner or Holton coming in, I think we'd struggle in the goalkeeping area. All top teams, their best player is their goalkeeper, and unfortunately, our best player isn't our goalkeeper. Now, Glenn Morris is a good goalkeeper, but he isn't a great one. And I think that's where, if we're going to fall down anywhere, that's where we're going to fall down with the squad that we've got. So I'm finished with the Views News. I'll hand you back to David.
Thank you very much. We will move on to Saturday opponents Bromley and their facts. So Bromley were founded in 1892. They were the founding members of the Southern League. They also won the FA Trophy in 2022, and their postcode is BR, and therefore they're not from Kent. Right. We will move on to the lineups. So Gilles lined up with Glenn Morris in goal. They lined up with a back three of Sam Gale, Robbie McKenzie and Andy Smith. Then the four in front of them was Romeo Hutton, Ethan Coleman, Armani Little and our goal scorer Max Clark, with Johnny Williams in behind Andrews and Nevitt. So there wasn't much change really from the game before. So I'll go to all of you to discuss what you made of the lineups and your thoughts. And I'll start with you, Mike.
Well, first of all, I mean, before we get started on that, graphics-wise, I'd just like to point out it's really nice to see that, you know, Gale hasn't got that face where you've spilt your pint on him and he's about to iron you out. So it's nice to have a different picture for him. And Johnny Williams, doesn't he look like he just won an Omaze house in that picture? He looks so happy with himself there, doesn't he? In terms of the lineup, yeah, I mean, I always prefer McKenzie to be in the midfield. I always prefer that. It's because you always feel like when McKenzie's in the midfield, something's going to happen with that, and you're never out of it with that. But you know, Coleman has been a major resurgence. I'm really happy with how he's brought himself back in. He looks like the Coleman of old. I think we said before, like we've attributed it to the fact that, you know, the less hair you've got, the better you'll play, whereas it's the opposite for Armani Little. I mean, going back to your point about centre forwards, Dave, right? Now, I wouldn't be looking to Andrews for the main goal output. I think his role is different in the forward line. I don't think he's going to be the one that anybody turns to. I don't think anybody's looking at Josh Andrews and thinking he's going to be the main goal output. But, you know, as a target man, someone to get his head on the end of it, I think, you know, he performs that duty really well. The concern I do have is Elliot Nevitt. Yeah, can't fault his effort, but the thing is, effort will only get you so far if your main job is to score goals, which is what he was brought in to do. And I'm just wondering, like, how long do we keep like persisting with that? I know when like Seb like comes back and he's fit enough and everything like that, he'll get a run out. But it's just worrying that you know, we're still persisting with the Nevitt experiment, so to speak, because we've got no other options at the moment. So I mean, I think it's a little bit harsh on you know, the wide players, because you think, how does this fit? How do they fit into this system, like the forwards wide players? But yeah, I mean, it's what you would expect from a Gills team. It's about as solid as it can be. You normally expect, like with Gale, McKenzie and Smith at the back, that it would be quite solid. But what we got in the openers, in the opening minutes, the opening first half, was anything but. It didn't look like, you know, when you see that on paper, you think, yeah, that's going to be quite solid. And then, you know, then we had the circus that we had.
And same question to you, Sarah. What were your thoughts on the lineup? And were you surprised that none of the deadline day signings went straight into the team?
I thought it was a strong lineup, to be fair. I always love to see, like Beck said the other week, actually, about seeing Johnny Williams start. It's always good to see him start. I think he starts strong. We all know he hasn't got like a whole game in him anymore, but it is good to see him sort of show the way. McKenzie just brings it, doesn't he? He's just a hard worker, just constant and does it. I do wonder with Little, is it sort of history repeating itself from last season? He started strong and then kind of started to peter off. And are we beginning to see that again already so early on in the season? But time will tell, I suppose.
I mean, just in Little's defence, I mean, he did play in the Virtue Trophy before. So, you know, he might still be a little bit leggy from that. Yeah,
granted. But they're athletes, they're professionals. They should be able to do Tuesday and Saturday. I mean, I couldn't, to be fair. I mean, I can't run for a bus, but, you know, I'm not a professional footballer. So I don't think Warren could run for a bus either, to be fair.
I can walk for one.
And with regards to Morris, you know, sort of touching on the goalkeeper and everything, it's like, did he expect a little bit more from his defence and not to be sort of like put in that position?
Absolutely.
Sort of at the last.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where we need to perhaps work on again. But yeah, but no, on the whole, I thought it was a good starter. With regards to our new signings, no, I'm not surprised they didn't start. I didn't think they would. To be fair, I didn't think we were going to see them on Saturday. So the fact McCleary did come on, thought was great. So, and the fact he showed his experience and got that foot to that ball that then created that penalty was good.
And Warren, same question to you, obviously, regarding your thoughts on the lineup. But are you slightly concerned or happy how settled the team looks? Are we making it? Again, this sounds strange because we haven't lost yet. But are we giving other teams advantage because they know pretty much this is our team, and we normally, if anything, just rotate the 10. Williams will play 1 week, Dak will play the other. Or do you like the consistency?
Yeah, I think up until the window, this team has done well and they deserved to play on Saturday. I think with the additions of McCleary and Smith, and the young guy at the back from Watford, who's going to be a pretty good player. I think it just gives us more options in the way we play. I think in home games, you might see a totally different team to what we see in away games, to be honest. If you look at our bench for the game, we were so strong. Off the bench, we had so many options on the subs bench, and some of the players that come on, I mean, Kumbeni, he didn't get my man in the match, but I thought he was excellent when he came on. He's showing more and more promise every game that he plays. And if I was Amani Little, I'd be a little bit worried about Kumbeni's form, or Nelson Kumbeni's form, because at the moment, I think Kumbeni deserves a start ahead of Little. But it's only opinion, so don't throw pelters at me. I just thought that the team was what it was, with Masterson and Palmer Holden still sidelined. Ogie still out is a little bit more of a worry. But, and I'll talk about the game later and our back three. And I just think that it was probably one game too far for the three of them.
Thank you very much. Right, let's move on to the game itself. I will start with you, Sarah, on this one. See, you were at the game. What did you make? Because I was unfortunately couldn't get a ticket for the game, but listening to, like, you could clearly hear the support in the background, and it felt different to previous years. Gillingham going 2-0 down could have turned very, very toxic. So yeah, if you could just discuss the game in detail as well, and also, yeah, why do you think that's changed? Why didn't the fans seem to turn on the team like they would have literally 3 months ago?
It's a good point, actually. I don't know, apart from the fact they just seem to have faith in the team at the moment. And also, it is that sort of in Ainsworth we trust. I think they just felt like there was a feeling amongst the crowd that, 2-0 down, we don't usually come back from that. However, everybody was still really positive that we can do this. I think Bromley's play is very similar to ours. And that is maybe why everyone thought, we can pull this round. So yeah, the atmosphere was just incredible. I mean, everyone was just like chanting and singing non-stop. And I know Gareth has touched on it before that, that boost from the fans when they're getting behind the team, especially on away games as well, really does just chiv him along. So yeah, I think the fact the fans didn't give up, maybe that then spurred the players on not to give up. We've not lost faith in them. Don't lose faith in yourselves. You can bring this round. Just turn it around and bring it back. Did we actually see it being a 2-2 draw at the end of it? I don't think anyone saw that coming, especially at half time. But the fact we did is just absolute testament to the players to just keep on going and not giving up. I think in previous seasons, we've seen them give up earlier on, where they don't seem to want to give up. Nobody wants to give up, but there's not that kind of attitude now. There just seems to be no, we can do this. We can prove you wrong, and we're going to prove you wrong. And I think it's the attitude in the players that then just changes everything. I really do. We're not to be walked over this season, that's for sure.
Perfect. And Warren, again, I want your insights on the game, but also if you could discuss your thoughts on Bromley's centre forward, Michael Cheek, your thoughts on his performance, and just how he seemed to, especially first half, seemed to bully Andy Smith. It's the first half that I'm sure he wouldn't want to relive. So yeah, if you could just go through your thoughts on Michael Cheek and his performance, and obviously your overall thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I'll go on to Michael Cheek. I've heard a lot about Gillingham fans saying that we should sign him and this, that and the other. He's 34. He does well for Bromley. Will he do well anywhere else? I have my doubts. But he's a legend at Bromley, and be honest, he gave young Smith a little bit of a lesson on Saturday for the first 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It was a bit of a handful, but that's experience. And if you look at when Sam Vokes came on, experience was everything. And it just, although Sam Vokes may not be able to play 90 minutes, bringing him on for 20 minutes when we need him, I think it's fantastic. I like any player that completes a little bit of shithousery on the football pitch, like he did for the penalty when he took all the crap from all the Bromley players and goalkeeper and trainer and whatever when he held onto the ball as though he was about to take it, and then just as everyone was ready to take it, he handed the ball to Max Clark and said, "Well done, guys, you just taking the mickey out of yourself." And I thought that was one for the cameras. It's probably the best bit of wind-up I've seen from a footballer since Paul Smith rubbed the chip off Clinton Morrison's shoulder, which every time I see Clinton Morrison on the telly on Sky, I always just immediately think of Paul Smith rubbing the chip off his shoulder during a game. Apart from the first 25 minutes, right, when Bromley were all over us and should have gone 3-up, I actually thought we played quite well after that 25 minutes. And I think because this team doesn't give up and because they've got a little bit of backbone amongst them, I think Sarah's right. The supporters just stayed with the team. And it was a proper away support on Saturday. There was no getting on the players' backs. Whereas if it would have been this time last year, I can guarantee you that half them players would have been booed, shouted at, screamed at, told they was no good, told to go home and clear off and not come back. But this year they're a different animal. They deserve the support. They battled to the end, and I think if we'd have had another 5 or 6 minutes on the game, we'd have won it.
I agree. And we're finished with you, Mike. Got a few questions for you here.
A few? Come on.
I've got a few. Apart from obviously your take on the game, what do you see this, or do you think this has the potential to become quite a little rivalry between Gillingham and Bromley? And I know we've kind of skirted around the penalty decision. In my opinion, it wasn't a penalty, but we'll take it. I said first half, there was the incident where Andy Smith's shirt was being held for about 4 hours, and the ref still didn't give the penalty. But what were your thoughts on the goalkeeper being allowed to stay on the pitch? Because, well, the bump on his head was huge, and
it was an extra player. That's what it was.
Yeah, it just, for me, they talk about these concussion rules and the safety of players, but for me, it didn't seem right that they signed that off for him to carry on. So yeah, I just want your thoughts on those points.
Yeah, I mean, should the goalkeeper? I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think he had too much awareness of what the hell was going on after he took that knock to the head. So you know, I have nothing against the goalkeeper at all. I don't think he was taking part in any of the dark arts or anything like that to prolong the take of the penalty. But you know, should he have been allowed on the pitch? It's hard to say, really, isn't it? I mean, you rightly point out that there are sort of concussion rules and things like that, but you know, it's not something that I have a strong opinion on, because I think, you know, I come from an era where, like, you know, if you get a knock on the head and everything like that, if you still want to play, you play, kind of thing. That's the kind of era that I come from. So I don't really have a strong opinion about whether he should have gone back in goal or anything like that. The game was nearly over anyway. So in terms of like what I thought about this rivalry, I mean, for me, it's a non-entity. I don't think it's a rivalry at all. I think it's the only time that you'll hear me comment about it is just about, like, for example, last season, how they embarrassed us in our own backyard. But I would have said that about any team anywhere in the country. So for me, there is no rivalry. I don't care enough about that. You know, Bromley is not in Kent. I know it's a localish derby and everything like that, but it's. I wouldn't even bother trying to create a rivalry where there really isn't one, because I don't think any Bromley fans care about it either. I think it's only certain individuals that think that's really the start of it. So they're trying to force something that isn't there. As for what I thought about the game itself, well, at one point I thought Andy Smith was going to go to bed that night and he would be having nightmares thinking that Michael Cheek was under his bed. It was that kind of fear kind of thing that every time the ball was coming his way, Michael Cheek was nearby, that it wasn't going to go his way. But I'm going to hold my hands up, and I said this on social media as well, that when we got to half time, I'll hold up my hand and say, I thought the way that we were bullied in that first half, I couldn't see a way for us to claw it back. So whatever was said in the dressing room at half time, whatever belief in Stillman there was, then it absolutely did the trick. But after the first half, I was just kind of like, yeah, I can't see us getting in there. I'm embarrassed to say that, and but it's full disclosure there. But I even said in one of the group chats, I said, Ainsworth always says, my teams are never out of it. And I was thinking, let's put this theory to the test so that it's not just words. But the thing is, everybody believes it. Everybody believes it. And, I know I had that moment of doubt at half time, thinking that where we were and where we should be in the game, completely, they were so night and day that I didn't think that we could do it. But the thing is, I'm so glad to be wrong. Absolutely ecstatic to be wrong.
So are we all, Mike. Before we move on to our player of the matches, we will listen to Phil's thoughts.
I went through every emotion in that match. When we went 2-0 down, I thought that was it, game over. But second half, some good substitutions. The team never gave up. And Matt Clark at the end gave us that draw. So it actually feels like a victory, but we've held on to our unbeaten record. We are top of the league and at the Gills.
Gotta love Phil.
Love Phil.
He's
very
a good guy.
infectious, isn't he?
He is. Yeah.
Yes. So, Sarah, we'll start with you first. So we're doing this slightly different. We normally post everyone so everyone can see it. This time we're doing it one at a time. So we'll start with you, Sarah. Your man of the match was Max Clark. Reasons for it, please.
Yeah. So what did I say? Because I did a little bit of notes on my little Maxi. So
Notes?
yes, I did some notes. No, not really. So I think the block that he did was quite crucial in the game. And also taking that penalty the way he did, it saved the game, didn't it? It gave us that 2-2 draw. And it's never easy doing penalties. We know that. It was like the Wimbledon game showed that, taking penalties is hard, and in front of all your fans as well. So to be able to pull that off, and his reaction obviously was just incredible. And yes, that's why he's my man of the match. He saved us and he gave us that 19th undefeated win. So yeah, for that's why he's my man of the match.
And Mike.
The big man. Aside from the goal that he got, I think he gave his absolute all in the shirt against Bromley. Now, I know he had that running on goal where he didn't really put anything into it, which is, that I don't think any player that we had a flawless game. Everybody had their sort of downsides to it. But, when you watch Andrews and you see him winning those aerial battles, you see him battling for every ball, you see him running to find a position so that he can be on the end of something. I mean, for example, that ball where he just managed to get his foot on it in the second half to get it to against Johnny Williams, so that he could take his shot. He just battled so hard, and he gave absolutely everything, and he was rewarded with a goal. Bearing in mind he had two players like pretty much ready to wrestle him, and he managed to he just slipped around the back of him like he was made of olive oil or something like that. But so to get his head on that, I'm really pleased that he got a goal. I mean, I maintain the point that we're not going to be looking to Andrews for a high goal output, but he will contribute in the goals. But he'll do all the other stuff to hold up, to win aerial battles, to battle for every ball and find a position to draw players off. He'll do that every single time for you.
And Warren, Johnny Williams.
Yeah, I just thought that in a game where there was a lot of brute force, I thought that Johnny Williams was the only player on the park that provided just that little bit of finesse. Not only that, he worked hard throughout the game. He was always trying to get something going, even when he was 2-0 down. And I personally thought it was his best away performance in a dual shirt since he's been at the club. There was a case for Andrews. There was a case for Company when he came on. There was a case for Vokes just for the bit in the penalty area before the penalty. But for me, Johnny Williams just shaded it amongst everyone else.
And I went for a Gillingham centre forward.
Yeah, Dave, tell us why, mate.
Yeah. I think Mike did sum it up well. And I think the problem that I do have is when you've got two not outputting, I find it very difficult. Where I said if Andrews is the answer and he may contribute between 5 and 10 and someone else will get you 20, I would be more than fine. Or if we get this Josh Andrews every week, I was surprised when they took him off, because apart from getting in a few ruckuses, I don't think Aaron Rowe really did that much when he came on. And I think Andrews was completely had their defence on the back foot. Vokes had just come on as well, and it felt like you could throw everything at them. The two big men up front, and when he came off, I felt we just lost it a little bit up top with his presence not being there. And I was really impressed with that, and I hope that is the Josh Andrews that we get going forward.
Yeah, I think it was just the reason why he was taken off is because he was pretty much blown out of his backside by that point. So I don't think it's anything like more than sort of fitness reasons or anything like that. So, but I agree with what you say about the, we did lose a little bit of momentum when we made the changes, and it took a little while to sort of, push for it again. But I mean, I think, you hit the nail on the head there that when Andrews came off, we missed that presence up there. We missed him just getting stuck amongst it and going for it.
And we will now move on to the Views 6. Last week's results. So we were against Rob. As you can see, we're the first column. So we had 2-1, Barnet, and Rob had 1-1. Cheltenham, we had 1-0. Rob had 1-1. Bromley, we went for 1-1. Rob went for a 1-0 Gills win. We had Walsall 2-1. Rob had Chesterfield 2-1. We both predicted 1-1 for the Harrogate-Crawley game, and we both predicted a win for Notts County. These are the results. So it was Barnet 1, Shrewsbury 3, Cheltenham 1, Accrington Stanley 0, Bromley 2, Gillingham 2, Walsall 1, Chesterfield 0, Harrogate 0, Crawley 1, and Notts County 1, Fleetwood 0. So this is what happened. We are back. We won the week 11-2, which is
God's sake, Rob, what was that all about? What's the win? Two? You've undone all my hard work.
I know. So now, after a week of not winning, we are now back with a 3-point lead on the overall season. And this week, we are taking on the football mum herself, Sarah.
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, this week's games are Bristol Rovers against Barrow. We've both gone for comfortable Bristol Rovers wins on that one. Chesterfield MK Dons, we've both gone for draws. Oldham against Bromley, we've gone for a draw, and Sarah's gone for a Bromley victory. We've both gone for Tranmere to beat Newport. We've gone very confident. It's very unlike us to predict a Gillingham win. And we've done it this week. This is Chris. So, you know it's not Warren. So, yeah, Chris has done Gill's score this week. He's gone for 2-1. And
he did that after he saw mine. That's what it is. He saw mine. He was like, do you know what? Yeah.
Sarah's gone for a 1-1 draw. And Fleetwood against Walsall. We've gone for a Walsall win, and Sarah has gone for a draw. So, Sarah, what were your thoughts, processes into predicting these? Was it just lucky dip? Was it looking at form?
No, I've got notes on this one. I did look at form, and I kind of really looked at histories and everything else. And my reasons are, if I can
did you go down the bookies with this as well?
I should have done, shouldn't I?
You seem to have studied it quite a lot. Studied some form.
Yeah. So the Bristol Rovers, Barrow. Rovers have won 3 in a row, but Barrow's struggling. Chesterfield against MK Dons, both need to bounce back from defeats. The Oldham Bromley, Oldham finally won, but Bromley's too strong for them. The Tranmere Newport, Tranmere need a win, and County are on a shocking run. I just think we're on a bit of a draw palette on us, but I'm hoping for a win. That's it, because we need a win to stay on top. And the Fleetwood Walsall, Walsall concede a few, so they're both sort of even Stevens for a 0-0 was my thought process. So I think
you've actually predicted the first 0-0 of the season.
Do I get bonus points? That's right.
Well, I don't know. That I don't know.
This after.
But if you're wrong, you have to do a forfeit. Sarah, if you're wrong, you do a forfeit. You.
Yeah, but I don't want to know what your forfeit is.
We should do a forfeit if someone gets no points.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we should have
person's get no points.
It'll probably be us.
Oh, what's the forfeit?
Now we will now look ahead to our game at the weekend, where we are entertaining Notts County. So last 5, as you can see, for Gills, we've got 3 wins in between a couple of draws, and Notts County have gone lost 1, drawn 1-1. So all signs are leading towards a good game. So I will start with you, Mike. What are you thinking for the weekend?
I'm thinking that the roulade will be exceptional with the raspberry smear in hospitality. No, seriously, it's going to be goals in this one. I think as I mentioned earlier on, both teams have scored in every game so far this season. I think it's got goals in it. I think it'll be a very tight game, and I just hope that we just have that one bit of magic that will set us apart from them. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this one, because it's always a good game against Notts County. It's always a good one way or another. So that I just hope that we get the rub of the luck and come away with a win.
And Warren, same question to you.
Yeah, after Mike's bigged it up, it's going to be a goal fest. It'll probably be a 0-0 draw, especially after our last 8,000.
Cheers, mate.
Especially of our 8,000 people that turn up on Saturday, it'll be a 0-0 draw with no shots on target, no shots on goal, and just be a midfield battle. But I do enjoy the Gillingham Notts County games. They've always been, as Mike said, full of goals in the previous meetings. I'm looking forward to a decent game of football, to be honest. I think it's 2 contrasting styles, but I think it's a style that we do well against.
And Sarah, I know we saw your score, but a few thoughts looking ahead to Notts County?
Yeah, see, I feel a bit bad now saying it's going to be a draw, because I really want them to see him win. It's always a good game.
I feel bad.
Yeah, I feel bad. Can I change it? It's always a really good game against them. It's always good home and away. So I think we'll see a good match, whatever. So, it should be. But stop it, Bianca. You can't join in. So stats wise, so we're currently 19 unbeaten. We all know that. But if we avoid defeat on Saturday, we're going to equal the club's record of 20 set in the 73-74 season. But that would then mean that the Saturday for the record breaker will be the Newport game.
Oh, we don't talk about Newport on this channel.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
Exactly. We don't talk about the
Not with these two on the panel.
Not with us. No. I think that's why I was asked to come on this week, so that I'm not involved with Newport.
Yeah.
Especially if you can see the weather forecast as well.
A cold snap is on its way.
Do you know what? I'm not actually going to the Newport game. It's the one game this season I can't go to. So I know. So no, we need to win this Saturday. So we need 8,001 people there, not just 8,000, 8,001. I'm starting a new project up for you, Warren. Change your hashtag.
Yeah, why don't you make it 8,002 and take those two massive nutcrackers you got?
Oh, should we show everyone the nutcrackers?
Jesus Christ. Honestly, I wouldn't sleep at night knowing they were in the house.
I tell you what, if we win on Saturday, I'll take a nutcracker to the next home game.
Yes.
Yeah, your eyes aren't deceiving you. That nutcracker is the height of a door.
How did they
get a pay for a seat? So I'll get my 8,000.
8,002.
I can't imagine carrying two of them. I'd be like, cut the minders.
So thank you for that. I will now move on to our social media. So before I ask for all that, I just wanted to, as he's not on the show this week, just wanted to say I'll pop round Chris's house in the week because I've offered to help him put together some of these slides because at the moment he does it all on his own. And I offered to help him out a little bit, but after about 5 minutes of him showing me, I think he saw that the fear that went into my eyes when he was showing me how much effort goes into this, and it's not just the slides, it's the graphics have now gone up a notch from last year. With home, we've got the blue, we've got the black, we've got the orange background, and the effort that Chris puts into all of this is absolutely crazy. And I just wanted to thank him as he's not here. And honestly, it would mean the world if you could whack that like button on all of these, on your Facebooks, on your Twitters, on your YouTubes. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a retweet, and make sure you put hashtag project 8,000. And thanks everyone for listening. Enjoyed that tonight. I don't know if any of you've got any other business that you want to put out before we say goodbye.
Nothing from my end.
No,
I'm all good, Dave. Thank you. Been a good show.
No.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Well, as always, I've been David. We've had Mike, Warren, and Sarah. And until next week at 8 p.m, up the Gills.